at 4.
Radio 92.7.
Listen to that. That's the sound of power and the call of the open road. That's the sound of the newly designed 2019 Indian Chieftain Limited. Yeah, Indian. It's more than a bike. It's an experience and an American icon. The place to find it, Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga, along with their entire new 2019 line. The open road is calling. Answer the call. Go to Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga. Just look for the sign on 153 and Amnicola. Indian Motorcycle, the true American original.
Nooga Radio 92.7's First Responder Friday.
If you would like to nominate a first responder for First Responder Friday, email noogaradio@gmail.com. noogaradio@gmail.com.
Nooga Radio 92.7's First Responder Friday.
Where to go for lunch today? Go to the Top. The Top of the Hill Country Buffet offers a delicious lunch buffet every day. Golden fried chicken with mashed potatoes from scratch, daily fresh vegetables, a full salad bar with all the fixins, and fresh homemade cobbler. In addition to the buffet, Top of the Hill also offers a full menu. Plus, kids eat for $5 all day. Top of the Hill is located in Ringgold on Remco Shops Lane and is open 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Sunday. Where are you going for lunch? Go to the Top.
The station you hear everywhere. Nooga Radio 92.7.
Good morning. Y'all know what it is. I'm taking it from the streets to City Hall, from City Hall to the mayor's office. Can't leave out the police department, from the valley low to the mountaintop, giving you guys a bird's eye view of what's going on here in the city of Chattanooga. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Oh, man, it's Wednesday. It's the day before everyone gets together. I do not support holidays. A lot of the holiday rituals that we have are man-made. They are offensive to certain groups of people, oppressive tactics towards others. And so I do not support the quote-unquote Thanksgiving, because I have Native American friends and people that I know. And for them, there is no positivity when we talk about Thanksgiving that does not offend them. So I do not celebrate the holiday. What I do love is the opportunity that I have to get together with family, which, if you're listening to this, you shouldn't just do that on a man-made holiday. You should be having dinner with your family as much as possible. You should be giving thanks for what you have, whether you believe in God or not. You should be grateful for what you have all the time. And if it takes somebody making a man-made holiday for you to do that, you got a mighty long way to come in life. Oh, y'all know me. I got to keep it real, because that's always who I am. And I really hope that with my show and some of the things that I talk about, David Toulis as well, that we start to decolonize our minds. We have been, I'm telling you, the more you read, the more you get around other people that don't look like you, don't come from your background, the more you talk to people, the more you realize you have been brainwashed. Oh, man. We're going to talk about it today in particular. Deliver us from doctrine, social justice in Christianity. And it's imperative that I wanted to talk about this because we're going through the winter, the time where people are without. Why do I not want to get into the holiday? Because the holidays aren't happy and cheerful and joyful for everybody. I'm missing both of my grandmothers. And as much as I would love, to flex on the gram that I'm spending time with my family, it's not the same without my grandmothers. Without walking into a room and having my grandmother wrap her arms around me and kiss me, it's not the same. It's not the same. And we have to think about other people in this time, the homeless, the orphan, the widow, the person who's lost their parents. Come on. The parent who's lost their child. We're going to get into it today. Social justice in Christianity. Before I get started with the topic today, let us not forget Nooga Radio 92.7 FM is streaming live on Facebook as well as YouTube. If you haven't liked the page already, please do. I made the promise to continue to update people with what's going on with the city council, to post the city council meeting links. City council has not put up the meeting from yesterday. So if you would like to report that for open records, call 615-741-2775, extension 7. Again, that is 615-741-2775, because those meetings should go up either same day or the next morning so people can see what's going on in the city of Chattanooga. And there is absolutely no reason why that meeting from yesterday is not up on social media. And so I know people from the city are always listening to what I have to say on the show, figure out what I'm talking about and what I'm doing. So if you work at the city, y'all need to get on your job and post the city council meeting from last night so people can see what you talked about and any decisions that you have made as far as taxpayer dollars and where those are going. If you please could do that, we would be ever so grateful. Let's get into it today. So why is it important that we talk about social justice and restorative justice in the church as Christians? If you are a believer and you've read the word, in particular, when you look at the life of Christ, and Jeff, it's amazing that you would talk about people just mooching and being lazy. If that is the case, and it's always amazing how people come out of the woodwork to make statements such as just that. People are lazy and just mooching. Well, sir, if you've ever been in a situation, let me use my city as an example. If you've ever, it's mighty easy for somebody to say that, but if you live in a neighborhood that doesn't have a grocery store and grandmothers have to take the bus to go 20 minutes away to go get groceries, you may not understand. If you know for a fact that you've watched the city of Chattanooga put $10 million in the Miller Park, but you've had homeless people on your show that say that they've been on the waiting list for housing for 3 years, it's quite interesting that you can say that. And in particular, Mr. Jeff Ottinger, if you are a Christian, you see, when I look at Christ, I wonder how many people call Christ lazy because Christ was homeless. I'll wait. 800-8949 if you want to chop it up with me today. Christ was a homeless man who depended on the kindness of people to be able to lay his head to preach the gospel. Was Christ not a homeless man? Was not the Apostle Paul a homeless man? He had given up all that he had. He stopped chasing people, trying to kill them. Was he not homeless? What Bible are y'all reading? Christ was a homeless activist revolutionary. 800-8949 if you really want to talk to me. Because it's amazing how people, and this is something that it really grates on the inside of me, is that people often make comments about other areas in the city, about other people, and you've never talked to them. You've never gone to see how they live. You've never walked into the schools that their children go to where they don't even have textbooks. And so when you see that the intent, can I be real? When you see that the intent, because the city of Chattanooga has all kinds of money. And the fact of the matter is that we pay taxes. We pay taxes. So when I look at resources, it should be an even spread throughout this whole city. But when I understand that we dumped $1 billion downtown and people live in neighborhoods with no pharmacy, no grocery store. They're so poor. Their children can't even afford coats and decent shoes for their children. Do we not understand? And you wouldn't understand unless you've gone there and seen people who are so poor that I've seen people take furniture that people have thrown away, gladly take it and use that because they have nothing else to sit on or sleep on. But if you've never walked with those people, and that's the beautiful thing about Christ, he didn't just look down from his throne and see people with problems, but he wrapped himself in fleshly problems so he could understand. So he could understand what people were going through. And is that not our job? To get out of our thrones and our houses and our cars and our spaces of privilege and walk amongst people and wrap ourselves in those problems so at the least we can understand. But I always see opinions. I don't see those pictures of you posting you walking in those dirty, nasty, blighted neighborhoods. Let's get into it. And this is part of the reason why young people around my age and younger are leaving the church. We are tired, and I'm being so real. And this is not just for one. This is not just for one type of church. This is not just for Black church. This is for church in general, from conservative Baptist to full gospel to Kojic, which I was raised as, to Episcopal. Come on now. We understand that in particular, especially for my context, that church is the cornerstone of a lived experience. But I also understand that church is disconnected from what's going on in this world. And not only do I not feel connected to the church is not connected to the problems. I am not pleased with just the fact that you have worship services, auxiliary ministries, and the sermons are fire. If that pastor cannot come out of the pulpit and find his hands or her hands in the everyday work, it's difficult. It's so difficult for people to believe. I can accept that you're flawed, but we cannot accept that you are a fraudulent individual. Far too many pastors are relying on emotionalism and charismatic church tradition that has fallen on the ears of the unwilling to hear. Leaders cannot provoke a praise or a shout with haughty judgment laden in sexism, classism, and homophobia. We need tools for survival in a world that seems to hate a whole lot of us. Come on. We don't need the world's hatred reinforced in the four walls where we supposedly come to worship. We can accept flawed, but we cannot deal with fraudulence. We are unwilling to be stagnant. Now, understand that a lot of us have gone to college. A lot of us have left the small streets or the small neighborhoods that we grew up in. And we've gotten out into this great big old world. And a lot of us, especially for young African-American people, going to college opens up a lot of doors for you because you get to meet other people. Otherwise, if you've never left your street or your neighborhood, you would never get to meet. You have an opportunity sometimes, depending on what university you go to, you have an opportunity to meet people from outside of this country. And so because we've had the ability, thanks to civil rights, you see, this is why the church can't walk away from social justice. I have opportunities because the church participated in civil rights, voting rights. And so these opportunities that I have given me the ability to see other lives and other experiences that often I never would have had. And so now I don't get caught up just in the fact that I'm African American and I'm oppressed. I've had the opportunity to meet Native Americans. Native Americans who are forgotten oppressed people. I'm tired of going to church and hearing people rail over women when I know that women carry the vote. That I know that the suffragette movement happened because of the participation of African American women. So I can't go to church and hear and hear misogyny and be okay with it. And in particular, in the type of churches that we go to in our neighborhoods, because then I look up and I see that the majority of the people in the congregation are women. 800-8949. Let's talk about it. The need for us to see ourselves goes beyond leaders humanizing themselves. Many of us are exiting congregations because we do not see ourselves in biblical texts or worship practices. Our sanctuaries are often adorned with depictions of saints or saviors who don't look like us. Our leaders are often attempting to scapegoat racism or sexism. Come on. As an issue of sin, other than an issue of skin. It's no wonder why we would rather leave than be indoctrinated with respectable Christian politics. And that's one thing that, respectability politics. I know that this is just a comment to me. Oh, Marie, I know your mother. She seems to be more reserved than you. Not really. My mother is a corporate warrior, but she's really not more reserved than me. And it really there are a lot of issues. And in particular, social justice is one. My mother was the first person in her family to go to college, And so when she hears people talk about Potts Homes or talk about West Side or talk about the South Side or Avondale or Boy Station, or when she hears people talk about these neighborhoods, it all really boils down to one question. When's the last time you've ever been there? And it's amazing how some of her coworkers, I don't drive through those areas. Oh, it's not safe over there. Too many people talk about contexts that they've never even lived in and that they only see from a social media perspective or a media perspective. Until you understand what the people in these places are going through, you walk among them, which is what we should be doing. We don't have to do that with the idea that we're going there to try to quote unquote, save some people. How about we just go to these places just to love on people? Millennials desire disruption, not assimilation. Respectable Christian politics is a set of requirements where sin must fall within respectable limits in order to be eligible for salvation and the right hand of fellowship within our churches. Our preference for respectability over discipleship has led to edging out at the cross for those who fall short of Christian exceptionalism. Often, Christian exceptionalism reinforces a myth, often that the cure for the person is to accept anti-Blackness, It is not by accident that evangelical Christianity traditionally associates these things such as Blackness, homophobia, with death, sin, or evil. And that often anything else that comes into the context of pure and unadulterated whiteness is purity, innocence, and holiness. It is not simply a difference of opinion when opposites argue against these endowments of our Savior. And I mean, if we read the Word of God, it says that Christ's skin was like bronze and his hair was like a lamb's wool, which is kind of nappy and curly. You know, Christ probably looked like somebody in the migrant caravan that you don't want to come to America and seek asylum. Let me say that again. Christ probably looked like somebody who is in the migrant caravan that is currently coming to America to seek asylum. Oh, goodness. Let's look at some scripture text here. Isaiah 1:17 says, learn to do good, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, plead the widow's cause. Learn to do good. So obviously this is something that we have to work at. We don't get this naturally. Seek justice, correct oppression. That's systems, folks. Bring justice to the fatherless, a whole lot of that in the city of Chattanooga, and plead the widow's cause. Fight for the woman who doesn't have a voice. We're going to talk about it today. Restorative justice, social justice, why people are leaving the church, and what do we do about it? Oh, man. Stay tuned for the second half of the segment.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news. Now.
A car chase out of Georgia ends in Chattanooga. According to a press release, a fugitive from Fort Payne was caught on I-24 at Westside Drive around 2 in the morning. This case is separate from the manhunt in Walker County. A suspect was detained in this chase. The Chickamauga battlefield is a no-go zone for hunting, but that didn't stop one Rock Spring man, James Alfred Jones, a technician with the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, convicted after prosecutors say he placed bait and deer cameras within the boundaries of the park. Illegal hunting has become a bit of a problem at the battlefield. If you spot illegal hunting, call 911. And the Tennessee State House picked Republican Glenn Casada to be the House GOP majority leader. Casada promised to help re-elect every Republican in the House and increase the House's role in the state budget process. He replaces Beth Harwell after she left in her bid for governor. Val St. John for Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7, Action News Now.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
Martin Truex Jr. is off the pace and he is headed to the pit lane. Elliott Powers around the outside. Michael McDowell pops a right front tire. Here's Martin Truex to the bottom. Blaney blocks him off too. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott went 4 wide on the back straightaway. They're side by side for the lead.
Hear it live on Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station.
Nooga Radio 92.7 FM, 95.3 HD4.
The voice of NASCAR.
Gold, 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 and more gold. And always buy American. At Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, you'll always get better rates than the banks. We'll convert your silver, diamonds, cash into gold, gold, gold. Precious American gold. Certified by the federal government. Buy American. Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. 499-9162. Call 499-9162. And visit Rick at 5301 Brainerd Road, Chattanooga. Gold, 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 and more gold.
For
your small business. Ending the year the right way can set you up for success come January. No need to let end-of-year panic set in. Easy Books and Taxes can help set up your books or new payroll service so that you can relax and enjoy the holiday season. With 35 years bookkeeping, individual, and business tax preparation, it's easy. With Easy Books and Taxes, you run the business, we keep the books. Call us today at 423-755-0821.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga Roofing Contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com for Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, a roofing company you can trust. Man, you sure you know what you're doing?
Yeah, I worked with my dad on his truck all the time. Just one more bolt to go.
Yeah, wrong bolt. Today's truck ain't your daddy's truck. For repairs on today's vehicles, you need AMCO Transmission and Total Car Care of Chattanooga on Lee Highway. Stay on the road, not in the garage. AMCO Transmission on Lee Highway. Get it done the right way. The Thompson Pet Way. Yeah, I just put that anywhere.
Hi, this is Scott Schrader. Tune in Saturdays for We've Got You Covered. From finance to fixtures and all things in between, when it comes to your home, we'll help steer you in the right direction. We've Got You Covered, 10 to 12 every Saturday on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio, Chattanooga weather.
Expect lots of sunshine and beautiful weather out there for your afternoon. It's still a little cool, highs lower 50s. Tonight, clear, chilly and frosty again by morning, lows near freezing. For Thanksgiving Day, though, looking great. Lots of sun, warmer highs upper 50s. More clouds, still mainly dry through Friday. Tired of the pressures and hassles of car shopping? Come see what more people are making the short drive to Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Lafayette or online at jacksongm.com. That's Jackson Chevy Buick GMC in Lafayette. And I'm Sorgene 12, Chief Meteorologist, Hatch Report.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
Girl, Marie myself that thing on the radio right now. Why? Because I'm not to you from a human point of view. I know everyone's so excited about turkey and stuffing, or if you from where I'm from, it ain't stuffing, it's dressing. Dressing and macaroni and cheese and candy yams and ham. Collard greens with turkey leg. That's how we do it where I'm from. I know everybody is excited about food, but we cannot go into this holiday season. This is really a wonderful opportunity because we're going to get to sit down with family, friends, and people who are important to us, where we can really have these conversations and strategize about what we're going to do about the things that we see in the city of Chattanooga. What are we going to do about our homeless problem? Does anyone have any answers? 800-8949. And really, what is the purpose of not just the church, but what is the purpose of Christians? You know, when I look at why people don't believe, and even Malcolm X actually talked about this in the 60s, asking when an interviewer asked him what's the difference between the Black Muslims and Christianity. And he said, well, the difference that I see is that we believe in brotherhood. And the difference between us and Christians is Christians don't practice it. We both believe in the same thing, but from his perspective, there was not a physical example from practice that he could tie brother and sisterhood to. And so the problem is not the word. It's not really the problem. The problem in some instances is not the preaching. That's not sometimes the problem. The problem is that once we've read the word and we've heard the preaching, what are we going to do about these things that we see happening? Because you can't call yourself a child of God if you don't care about other children of God? So I can't call myself a Mott child if I don't care about Jeremy Mott, my brother, and Timothy Mott, my sister. I can't call myself a Mott. I can't call myself one of the Mott trio if I don't check on my brother and sister, call my brother and sister, go by and see my brother and sister, sit down and kick it with my brother and sister, ask my brother and sister, what's going on in your life? Help them whenever they need my help. I can't call myself. Same difference. You can't call yourself a child of God if you don't look out for other children of God. And who are the children of God? Everybody. Even the people who don't go to your church. Even the people who don't confess anything. Even the people who don't look like you. Even the people who don't talk like you. Yes. Even the person in Yemen that you want to bomb the literal daylights out of is a child of God. And you've never met them. You hate their guts because that's what the media told you to do. And you've never met them. You've never walked the streets of Yemen. You have no idea what it's like to live in an area that's been bombed the crap out of. You have no idea. And yet you won't even lift up a prayer for this person because you swear that all of them are your enemies. And here it is that you're more than likely in the United States going to be shot up by someone who worships and looks like. Can I be real? The majority of mass shootings that have happened in the United States have not happened at the hands of immigrants or people of color. They have happened at the hands of Caucasian men who are often Christians. Maybe is the problem our doctrines, which are all very, very, very different. I mean, so before my computer crashed and went down, doctrine is basically a set of rules that are within a party or organization or religion. Often you find doctrine in forms of government. Often when I look at a lot of doctrine, I do not see biblical context. What I see are doctrine that are tied back to personal opinions and then often of men. Growing up, Pentecostal Church of God in Christ, our pastor said that we should wear skirts down to your ankles and you can't wear certain colors of lipstick and go into the, yes, people, even I'm only 30. I'm not that old. I'm still pretty young. And you couldn't, go into the movies is kind of evil because it's dark in there. You don't know what the people are doing in the dark. The foolishness that we come up with. And you grow up and then you realize that a lot of this stuff was, part of it is meant to control people. But the other part of this is so we don't have to address real life problems, because I figured a part of this out. And this is kind of what happens in the medical world in a real sense. If we cure people, they don't have to come back. Now, of course, the church has this very, very wrong. People will come back if they are getting some help with how to change their life or how to make it in this life. I'm African American. So when I go to church, some of the things that I need to hear about is when a young brother gets shot in the back. I don't want to hear that it's God's will. What I want to hear that is a byproduct of white supremacy and police brutality. I want the real. I don't want to hear that it was God's will that he got shot in the back. I want to hear the truth. I don't want to go to church and I don't want to see the mayor. The only time that he comes to church is when he wants to come up for votes. I want to see the pastor meet the mayor at the door and say, no, you can't come here and sit up in my pulpit and stare down at my members when I know you don't put any funds into my community. Do y'all want me to be real? I need the pastor to meet the congressman and the mayor and the council person at the door. The ushers don't even let him in. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I do apologize. But I just can't let you come sit in my pulpit, because I've been reading the agendas from the city council meeting, and I continue to see where the money that's going towards pilots and towards TIFs, come on, and other things in the city. And we don't have a grocery store in my neighborhood. The children have nowhere to play. And the only time we see anybody coming in here is the police when they come in here to put 5 or 6 of them in handcuffs and illegally search them. (800-8949) if you want to call and talk to me. What I want to see is the real. What I want to hear, what I need, what I desperately need is the feeling that when I leave out of the 4 walls of the church, that you don't hate me too. You don't hate me too. You don't hate my friends too. You don't hate gay people too. You don't hate people with disabilities too. You don't hate Black people too. What I need to hear is that we're having, instead of having typical Bible study, we're going to have Miss LaQuisha Ewing coming and talking to us, showing us some statistics and some information about what's going on in our neighborhoods. We're going to have Miss Ewing talk about the St. Kofa Fund and how, even as a small community, we can stack our bread and make some things happen in our community without the city's help. What I would like to hear, come on, is I would like to hear, instead of evening service today, we're going to have Dia neighbors come and talk to us about what it's like living life with autism and how people can assist people with autism in a real life sense. If you don't know who Dia Neighbors is, she's an excellent writer. She works at Mama Crunk's Pies. She's an excellent writer, native of nowhere. Shout out Dia. I love you. I love her writings. I'm going to start putting her writings as long as she's okay with it. And Marie Mott's taking a stand forum where I do go into extensive details about things that I talk about. If you have not liked the forum already, please do that. And everyone has the ability to post. I only have one rule, is that even if you disagree with what people have to say, you got to respect them. One rule, one expectation only. And that's how we should live life. Church should not be about changing people. It should be about loving people. The gospel, in a lot of instances, Christ came and really made it very, very simple. It was all these laws, all these things going on. And Christ himself, that's how I know Christ was an activist, because he did so many things that were just completely against the rules. Right? Dia, I got you covered. Don't worry. Miss Ewing, I got you covered. Please, St. Kofa Fund. If you do not know what that is, St. Kofa Fund. Don't sleep on LaQuisha Ewing. Please don't. Don't sleep on me, because I'm talking about things that nobody else wants to talk about, and it's important because Mr. Calvin Davis talked about before, right before we went on break. He posted on the live video that our government is considering spending millions of dollars for a shelter for cats and dogs. And I have nothing against animals, love dogs, allergic to cats, couldn't have one if I wanted. But if we care more about housing animals than we do people, we need to reevaluate what we believe. Christ tells us to take care of the widows and the orphans. What is an orphan? A person without their parents. There are a lot of children here that are without their parents. It's a lot of children growing up without their fathers. Come on. When we gather over the table, I want you to think about that there's going to be somebody who is not going to have anything to eat. While we're warm, there's going to be somebody desperately trying to sleep in the cold. And if you don't believe me, just take a stroll right down 11th Street. Right, so many places. You can even get off of the highway if you are coming from, if you're coming down 153, get off of the highway. Probably for the last month and a half, I've seen a man drying his clothes on the guardrail, getting off of the exit like you're going to ICCM or Venue Church or T-Mobile's call center, drying his clothes. This isn't a happy time for everybody. And living in one of the most inequitable cities in the South, it's time for us to start talking about these issues. Because you say that you're a Christian, what you believe is that you are unworthy to be saved, but God saved you anyway. Christ died for you anyway. You weren't worth it. You weren't worth it. You're filthy. You're flawed. You've done disgusting things. You said disgusting things about people. You've hurt people. You stabbed people in the back. You've done things for yourself above others. Come on. All of us have fallen so short of the glory of God. If it was not for God, I'm telling you, I've seen acts of love beyond measure. My mama jumped in the pool and saved me from drowning. I kid you not. You better ask that lady. Jumped in 12 feet of water. She had 2 other children and saved me. Didn't even think about it. Jumped in. Saw I needed help. I almost drowned her. Saved me. That's the same thing Christ did for you. He saw you drowning. He didn't think about it. He jumped in. He saved you when you didn't deserve to be saved. Our whole gospel hinges on the fact that we are undeserving human beings. And so if even Christ, who was perfect, came down, wrapped himself in flesh so he could understand what we were going through, saved us, and how can we not? How can we not do the same? How can we be fully content with what we see and not be moved to not even think about it? We're just jumping in. You know, I'm not asking the questions because I've seen this a lot. Well, it sure would be nice if somebody would go out here and feed the homeless people. Well, that's a great idea. You should probably do that. It sure would be nice for somebody to go out here and hand out blankets to the homeless people. Well, you know what? Start collecting blankets. That's a great idea. Just jump in. If one person just does one thing, whether that's getting blankets, that's your thing. Whether it's helping people or women who've been abused, that's your thing. Whether it's talking to men about emotional wellness, that's your thing. Come on now. Whether it's helping catch up children who are functionally illiterate and teaching them phonics, that's your thing. If we all just dedicate our time to doing one good thing, we could change our city overnight. You don't have to wait to vote. There's nothing wrong with voting. You don't have to wait till 2020 when I run to get up and do some work. Do work now. Get a Ziploc bag. Put some $1 gloves and $1 socks, right? The miniature deodorant, toothpaste, the miniature toothpaste, a toothbrush. Put that in a bag. And I guarantee you, if you hand that out to people, there'll be people in tears just for the fact that they have something warm and clean to put on their feet and their hands. I've done it. And I've seen people in the summertime be so grateful just to get a cold bottle of water. It doesn't take much. You don't have to go out now if you feel like this is what you're supposed to do, or that you want to do this. There's nothing wrong with going out and starting a 501c3. But you don't have to start an organization. You don't have to get a grant. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but you don't have to do that. Cut out the money that you're spending on Starbucks, on eating out in the street, and save that money and just do a small project. Maybe it's go and ask somebody to borrow their truck and go and get all of the free books. Go get all of the free books that McKay's put out every single day and go hand that out in areas where, educational levels are very low. Come on, I'm giving out free ideas here. Go get the books and hand them out to people, especially the young people. Put a book in somebody's mailbox. Everybody might not read it. That's fine. But you never know. One child may go get the mail for their grandparent and open it and find a book that you put in the mailbox. They may read it. We have to be a living example of what we believe. And if we believe that Christ has redeemed us, if we believe that Christ has redeemed us from our sins, forgiven us of our mistakes, and that he's cleaned us up, and we have that responsibility to do that for other people and be a living example, a mirror that reflects of Christ. Talking about it today, social justice in the church, why we're leaving, what we can do. Come on. You don't have to do something big. Just start small. Just one small act of kindness is enough to start making change. If no one is taking the time today to tell you that they love you, I love you, my loves, and there's nothing you can do about it. See you back Friday.
3, 2, 1. Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news. Now.
A car chase out of Georgia ends in Chattanooga. According to a press release, a fugitive from Fort Payne was caught on I-24 at Westside Drive around 2 in the morning. This case is separate from the manhunt in Walker County. A suspect was detained in this chase. The Chickamauga battlefield is a no-go zone for hunting, but that didn't stop one Rock Spring man, James Alfred Jones, a technician with the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, convicted after prosecutors say he placed bait and deer cameras within the boundaries of the park. Illegal hunting has become a bit of a problem at the battlefield. If you spot illegal hunting, call 911. And the Tennessee State House picked Republican Glenn Casada to be the House GOP majority leader. Casada promised to help re-elect every Republican in the House and increase the House's role in the state budget process. He replaces Beth Harwell after she left in her bid for governor. Val St. John for Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7, Action News now.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio, Chattanooga weather.
We've had lots of sunshine and beautiful weather out there for your afternoon. Still a little cool, highs lower 50s. Tonight, clear, chilly and frosty again by morning, lows near freezing. For Thanksgiving Day, though, looking great. Lots of sun, warmer highs upper 50s. More clouds, still mainly dry through Friday. Tired of the pressures and hassles of car shopping? Come see what more people are making the short drive to Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Lafayette or online at jacksongm.com. That's Jackson Chevy Buick GMC in Lafayette. And I'm Sorkin 12 Chief Meteorologist at 4.
Radio 92.7.
Whether you have marginal, moderate, or even extensive hair loss, you don't have to live with it. Finally, there's a procedure that becomes a part of you, and it requires no daily maintenance or special care. Let Apollo Hair Systems give you a free hair and scalp analysis today. Call 423-803-1011 and schedule this free evaluation today. Open Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Friday and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Apollo Hair Systems, 5512 Ringgold Road in Chattanooga. 423-803-1011 for Apollo Hair Systems.
The water we drink should be the most perfect on the planet. At Purity Water, we set the bar extremely high. As a leader in bottleless water treatment systems, we create the healthiest, cleanest water there is, liquid purity. The Purity water cooler dispensers and coffee makers can transform your workplace with a continuous supply of clean, fresh, great-tasting water. And now, to make your day that much brighter, we're serving Stone Cup and Fleetwood Premium locally roasted coffee. Some would call that the nectar of the gods, but here at Purity Water, it's just business as usual. To put a smile on the faces of your employees and visitors, and for your free trial, give us a call at 423-894-0737 or find us online at puritydrinkingwater.com. That's puritydrinkingwater.com.
Even if you like your job, there are some things that can drive you nuts, like the anonymous coward who steals your lunch from the break room fridge, or maybe Tyler, the IT guy, who gives you that condescending look when you tell him that your computer is acting up again, as if somehow it's your fault. You put up with these clowns every single day. But what happens when you've had enough? That's the day you decide to retire. At least that's the hope, right? But will you be able to retire? Can you afford to retire? That's why you need to talk to Ron and Christy Adams at One Family Financial.